So welcome, Dr. Shenoy. And we are really eager to listen from you on the endocrine disruptors. Again, a very important aspect of environmental pollution. We are really thankful to you that you agree to share your thoughts on this very important and interesting topic. So may I now request you to please share your screen and deliver the lecture.
Hope my screen is visible. 1 second.
Yes, your screen is visible.
So thank you, Dr. Sambhu and Dr. for giving me this opportunity. So I will be just discussing over the next 15 minutes regarding this good topic which he has given me today, that is endocrine disruptors on the occasion of World Environmental Day. This is a very important topic. So when we go through any literature, we just think about what are we going to discuss today. So already the topic has, the context has been set regarding what we are having, lot of burden of air pollution. But now what is the environmental day, the theme of environmental day? So say no to plastic. That is the first thing which the theme is really meant about. So I will be telling regarding endocrine disruptors because I am an endocrinologist based in Trivandrum. So we have gotten so many new patients who are coming in with described or non-described issues. So we don't know many things which endocrine hormones are also affected. So this is the way in which we are going to discuss the headings of presently knowledge and what the policymakers and what promises that we ourselves can do to the only planet we can do, because we don't have life in any other planet as of now. So the Mother Earth, we have to protect that mother. That is why we are aiming to this discussion. So for these slides, I have taken help from my colleagues, Dr. Beatrice Ann and Dr. Lakshmindralini Kopale from Hyderabad. So I'm grateful to them. So the aim of this session is to educate the public as well as the doctors regarding effects of environmental contaminant exposures, which can happen in utero as well as across the lifespan. So we have to understand that this is the concept of environmental contamination, and these exposures can occur in a day-to-day basis, and we don't know when it is happening, and we are scared that it can even be life-threatening also. When we have knowledge, then only we can share the knowledge to our patients and caregivers and to the next generation also, which is why we should be accessible to this. And also we should remember that we also should know the potential risk for the environmental disrupting chemicals, that's EDC, because when we have people who come to us seeking solutions for some issues like early development of breast in females, that is early thelarchy, or early puberty, that is also very common nowadays. That is a common issues we have to deal. And finally, as we all know, we are collaborating with each other. So research settings, how will help us, that is also we'll discuss. So what are endocrine disruptors? These are defined as an exogenous substance causes adverse health effects in an intact organism or their progeny consequent to changes in the endocrine function. This was in a Weybridge report in 1996. So you can see in this graphic that hormone acts on the receptor, and when endocrine disruptor comes in, they bind to the receptor moiety and displaces them and produces another response contrary to what general physiology or pharmacology we expect it to have. So examples of these disruptors include the common household products and materials. We all know that. Then the solvents and the paints that we are exposed to, metals that we are seeing all around us, the pesticides which are used to destroy them, but suppose exposure happens, it can cause disastrous effects like DDT, phthalates, so many pesticides. Then we know that pharmaceuticals, some molecules now they are actually going away from plastics, but still we know pharmaceuticals exposure to plastics also are there. By and large, we are now reducing that, but still we should remember that. Industrial ingredients are also to be kept in mind. So we can get exposed through the food products, industrial activity of pollution, use of personal and home care products, and medical products or equipment. So these can affect the entire lifespan as early as pre-conception and also in gestation. So we can have birth defects as well as abortions or even continuation of defects by the mental issues also. So according to the recent study published by the Lancet Diabetes Endocrinology 2016, exposure to these chemicals can cause hormonal changes, contributing to $340 billion health expenses. Now it is 2023 now, so the expenses must have skyrocketed. This is annually occurring in the US. The problem statement in India is that we are facing so many obese children and obese adults also. And India is home to the largest population of diabetics also. So this is all related to the obese generation which we are generating. So endocrine disruption, the problem statement includes female reproductive health, male reproductive health, thyroid-related issues, neurodevelopment in children, hormone-related cancers. So many cancers are described recently also because of disrupting chemicals, adrenal disorders, immune dysfunction, because we are now still going through the COVID pandemic, and so many immune diseases we don't know. These are all related to the endocrine disrupting chemicals. Then we all know that metabolic disorders, as we had discussed today. So this complicated chart, or I can make a simple chart also, we can see so many receptors and so many other chemicals which are binding. Estrogen receptors, estrogen alpha, beta, androgen receptors, we can see the insecticides, the bisphenol A, the most commonly incriminated thing, the dioxin or TCDD, a chemical which is very important to be understand. Endosulfan, there is a very important issue which is happening in north part of Kerala, endosulfan victims. So these are all endocrine disruptors, and we are seeing aryl hydrocarbon receptors. The previous speaker was telling about so many pollutants also. These are all receptors which can occur in the plasticides also. Then we know aromatase, in so many things are there. Aromatase activity is also binded. So different modes of action, either on binding on the receptor, acting on the enzymes, modifying the genetic dispersion and the future epigenetic expression by various mechanisms. So what are EDCs? They can be classified as synthetic and natural. So these are the classification mechanisms. And you can see there are combinations. So PCBs and dioxins are byproduct of combustion. So they are forbidden since 1980s. They are highly lipid soluble, but still linger in the environment and accumulate in the food chain. Then we have got the flame retardants found in plastics. They are PBDE and PBDAA. They are very much available even in the food sources, electronic items, furnitures, the paints and plastics. These are readily available. Even in the breast milk also they are found to be there. So daily intake of PBDD as found in the Western population is very much cumulative. We can see that it occurs across age group and across sources. Then we have the bisphenol A, which is now very important because they leach in from the plastic to the food. Because at room temperature, high temperature, they can go into the contamination. They release into environment, and this can lead to the risk factors. When we throw away plastic, they go to landfills. And how many people know that we still get it directly and indirectly? So older the plastics is, the more the environment disrupted is releasing. This is important about bisphenol A. And bisphenol A is present in most of the toys also, and now we are seeing BPA-free availables also. Then we have got phthalates. These are present because they are used in the perfume industry, cosmetics, cleaning agents, probably because it is important to exceed the issues. So now we are dealing with the female reproductive system. The most common chemical which has been age-old known as DES or diethylstilbestrol. Nowadays it's less frequently seen, but there are studies evidencing link to endometriosis. There is a diethylstilbestrol carcinoma, which is the vaginal carcinoma, which is described previously. Nowadays, we are also seeing downward trend because of issues which have addressed it. So increasing evidence shows that this can affect signaling of the puberty timing, the fecundity, the fertility, and also the menopause. This is why female reproductive system is trending worldwide. A summary of the endocrine system in the female side, you can see DES in utero exposure leading to abnormal cervical uterine ovidate abnormality, vaginal adenocarcinoma, as I have told you, and endometriosis also described by phthalates. Precocious puberty, DDT is accumulating. That is what we are known to happen. That premature thelarchy or the breast development, as I have told you, due to thyroid atmosphere. These are all evidence-based medicine. It's published in literature. Breast abnormalities and breast cancer have been probably due to the polymorphism of the genetic expression by these environmental disruptants. PCOS, because polycystic ovary syndrome has been seen by increasing the AGE accumulation. We also know that fecundity or the decreased fertility has been described to the persistent organochlorine chemicals in the organ. So these are all evidence through anecdotal evidence. How this happens is by attaching to receptor molecule, the estrogen receptor, and they get converted to testosterone. So the male features develop on these issues. So even the in utero also exposure can lead to the abnormal exposure which is there. So when environmental disruptors is happening, these bind to the attachment where molecule actually receptor binds, and finally this doesn't happen. The normal response of conversion of peripherally to testosterone does not happen. That is why the males may develop low sperm counts, and sometimes they also have an abnormal expression of testicular dysgenesis also. So male reproductive system, that is a testicular disruption syndrome, and we have got testicular dysgenesis syndrome also. This affects sperm and semen quality, the urogenital tract abnormality, including hypospadias. We are also seeing evidence through this all literature published from Italian studies of age of exposure of dioxins affecting the sperm quality, an inverse association of the PCBs with the semen quality, and also the non-persistent pesticides which can affect from the Swan et al. Study. So this is from the evidence I had told you, the Paulosi et al., that hypospadias incidence in USA has been increasing to the exposure to these chemicals. And also malignancy high lifetime risk has been ascribed through these chemicals being discovered in the chemicals in this body. Now coming to the common issue of prostate cancer, this has been provided by evidence for maternal exposure to wind closing. This can cause anti-androgen effect similar to the DDT and DDE. Farming pesticides can affect the P450 enzyme pathway, butylate, permethylate, chlorate. These are all described in literature. Environmental estrogen exposure, arsenic, cadmium, UV filter, erbium. Then you have got the PCBs, which can estrogen sulfate transferase enzyme effects. So again, BPA also affected. Next, coming to the thyroid dysfunction, this has been described very recently by the Elizabeth Peirce et al. Publication in the American Academy recently concluded AACA meeting. This author told that there is evidence of perchlorate toxicity causing negative effects on thyroid health, leading to TSH issues, because these chemicals can affect the thyroxine directly and even lead to hypothyroidism and abnormal fetal and child growth. This survey has evidence from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey data from the women, and measuring the urinary iodine estimation found increasing evidence of urine perchlorate, and producing these issues was evidenced by the hypothyroidism also. So this study concluded that this has evidence of EDC affecting thyroid hormones variably, and pregnant women and infants may be vulnerable to the possible effects of these chemicals on neurodevelopment, and manufacturing and drinking water may be properly regulated, because filters and proper chemicals should be screened like arsenic to reduce the environmental disruption chemicals. So research is required further on this heading. And last part of my talk will be drilled on the neurocrine damage and childhood growth provided by the chemicals which the children have nowadays by the rapid urbanization. We know that these companies are producing so many chemicals, we don't know many things as such. So not to blame anybody, so we should ensure that the next generation does not have harmful effects of these, including increasing screen time, because when these people get more screen time, the sleep is disturbed, and this can directly affect the neurotransmission also. So environmental chemicals, puberty, this is evidence from obesogens by Gern and Bloomberg et al. The white adipose tissue affected by sympathetic system, as I have told you. Estrogens getting directly, adipogenesis also directly affected. Animal studies had shown on DES that these affect the leptin, adiponectin, interleukin 6, and triglyceride pathways. In vitro studies done by my own friend Shaktivel et al. Published also the VPA and bisphenol A on lipid accumulation. They had done studies on urine bisphenol A studies. PPAR gamma affected, they are called organotin affection. And finally, genistein or phytoestrogens present in soy can promote lipogenesis at high concentration. These are all the summary of evidence regarding these chemicals. So we all know the roots of obesity run deep. So we should definitely create healthy future, because healthy future is required in our just younger generations. And last concluding note on what researchers and what policymakers can do. This is the evidence of US EPA office, which has published time to time by workshops, problem statements, implementation plan, but still we are stuck here after 2004. We don't have a concrete plan how we can tackle and how we can reduce the climate change. So we are summarizing the talk by telling that we are finding day to day so many products in our own practice. It's affecting our plastic bottle, the metals, so many chemicals we are exposed to. We can do so many things by following the recommendation of our scientists. This is my teacher, Dr. Elizabeth K.E., my senior Dr. Piyush Gupta, which form a group, and these have got task force on IAP guidelines on fast food and junk foods. And these are the code for the junks. For want of time, I won't, but this is available for free. You can check it on your time. And now this is my publication, which I have been making. Last year it came out, Childhood Obesity, by which we had touched upon endocrine aspects of this important health problem, and endocrine disruptors definitely mentioned in the prevention aspects. Dr. Swati Bave Madam has shared this slide for me. This has summarized wonderfully on all the chemicals which are available in our own presence. Is the dioxins present in meat, the paint, and all chemicals having so many other issues. So we should ensure lead-free paints, which definitely is our aim from IAP ECHG group. So cutting on our own home, we can eat more plant items. We can swap the non-stick cookware for cast iron and stainless steel. We can stay away from plastics, not just the bisphenol A. We can check the labels of our beauty products. We can filter the water and avoid the fake stuff. We don't do any calories. The key points of my discussion today is to make you understand that EDCs are an emerging global health problem whose disease risk we are not clearly estimated so far. And we require urgent action by knowing the knowledge, and novel test and novel biomarkers is required because assays estimate now only through the liquid chromatographies and gas chromatographies. We don't have a ready-made assay for this. And we know that recently so many new chemicals have been described with new sites of action. So the last word is still not out. Recently, we are also seeing that the wildlife population, the zebrafish, the turtle, all those populations previously not exposed are definitely found to be exposed. So they are also to be addressed in the future. I would like to give you a small summary of all what I have talked today by giving you a key important 6 P's which are harmful. That is the plastics, the pollutants, the paints, the pesticides, the personal care products, and our mobile phones also. These are all contributing to the burden of these chemicals. And remember, what we can do today itself is that these points can be remembered in our practice. What we are preaching, we should practice. Then we should try to reuse whenever possible the common items which I have mentioned to you, and we try to recycle them whenever possible. When you are going to a purchase, we should try to reduce the chemicals which are exposed to and recover these issues from our own items. And research is what we should try to. I have gratitude to Dr. Sanjay Kalra, Dr. Ramesh Bajania sir, and Dr. Swati Bave for guiding me towards this side. And also, I would like to recommend to you the Endotext publication from Dr. Beatrice Ann, from which I have taken my presentation, and also Prakriti website on YouTube channel of the ECHG group, which I am proudly partnering with. Thank you all for the kind listening, and thank you, Shambhuda, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Shenoy, for your wonderful deliberation on the endocrine disruptors. So,
Shashank sir is also here. Thank you, Shashank sir.
Yeah. Welcome, sir. We are really grateful to have with us now Professor Shashankar Joshi, who needs no introduction. He's the past president of API, RSSDI, and also currently he is the president of TSI, Thyroid Society of India. So welcome, sir. And sir is dedicated not only to improve the human health, also how we can improve our environment health. He is doing lots of work on that. So we are really thankful that sir has joined us. So now may I request sir to say a few important words on this very important day. Over to Professor Shashank Joshi sir.
So thank you, Shambhuda. I'm really grateful that you and your entire team decided to celebrate the World Environment Day. and Dr. Mohan also gave a good talk. So I'm not going to talk too much. We are all here. We live on planet Earth, and we are 8 billion people on planet Earth. 1.4 billion each live in China and India, and we are, whether the air we breathe, the water we drink, or the food we consume, it's all about how we disrupt it or pollute it, or have challenges with it. What has happened in the last 300 years with modernization, urbanization, civilization, economic development, we forgot to respect our environment. And I think we have paid a very huge price, particularly in the health space. And I think Shambhu and Mohan, Shenoy, and all the people who are here, I would like you to urge that we should have a public fact sheet of do's and don'ts for lay people for good health. What is it that we should do and what we should not do? And the second thing is for people with diseases, like suppose somebody has diabetes, somebody has hypertension, somebody has a kidney disease, somebody has thyroid disease, what they should do, do's and don'ts from an environmental standpoint. And we should practice what we preach. So there's no point of we telling and preaching all this, and then ultimately when it comes down to drinking water, we drink it from a plastic bottle. Or this is how we really need to change our environment. And my last take-home message is that Earth needs to breathe air, and our lungs are polluted. Our Earth is polluted, and the only way we can make a huge change, one single thing which can make a huge change, is I think we should keep planting trees. So every person who is hearing me here, directly or indirectly, my only one simple take-home message for today's day is just plant a tree. If you can plant a tree every day, the earth will be a better place, because ultimately trees are the lungs of the earth. And if we really need to be happy, healthy, I think it's important that we have the greenery around us and we plant more trees. So I think I'll stop here. Shambhu, once again, I just came to encourage and congratulate you. You have been an amazing human being, and you have been consistently doing a lot of academic work, and you have got this bright brigade of your academy, which is in Vocare, which is very innovative, and you have today picked up one of our endocrine stars, Dr. Mohan Shenoy. He is very vibrant on the academic endocrine world and the social endocrine world of social media. That's a new buzzword. And he's very active on his hashtag, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere he's there. He's virtually everywhere. And he's a 24/7 person. He's seeing patients, and he's tweeting, and he's educating. And that's great. But I think we are all here because we are promoting science. We want to educate people, and we want to have a healthy world and a eco-friendly, environmental, green environment. And I think it's time that we, our ancestors used to always worship environment. So it was equivalent to God. And it's time that we give the respect and worship the environment, whether it's air, water, or trees deserve. It's time that we redo the wheel, and we definitely need the earth needs the lungs. 8 billion people need to survive. They need to stay healthy and happy, and that's why looking after environment is as important as looking after our own selves. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving us your time. And I know you are so busy, but you gave us time. So we are really thankful.
Sir gave an excellent message.
Yeah, excellent. That is the take-home message for our program, actually, what sir has told. So thank you. Thank you once again, Dr. Shenoy.